It was billed as a bold new strategy for the State of Israel to break the deadlock in its conflict with the Palestinians.
On the question of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, Israel doesn't have an agreed, consolidated national strategy. The time has come to take our fate into our own hands and guarantee the future of the Jewish national home.
But the three party leaders who came poured cold water on the INSS political plan.
I disagree with the plan or some fundamentals of the plan.
A strategy launched by one of Israel's premier think tanks, not a solution, but a political ways guiding Israel out of a dead end to begin the process of separating from the Palestinians. If the status quo is unsustainable, but a full peace treaty is unattainable.
We want to get a move on. We think we need to start moving to prove we're decisive. We're not waiting around. We're not living in a fantasy world. We want to move to a world of action. So we start with action.
It aims to redraw the map, literally. Down the middle of the West Bank, a contiguous stretch of Palestinian territory. Next to it, more land for Palestinian economic development under Israeli control. 65% of the West Bank, 98% of the Palestinian population. Israel would continue to build in the settlement blocks beyond the Green Line, but the settlers in the isolated settlements would be encouraged to relocate back into Israel or the big blocks, and in the Jordan Valley, a security zone. But Israel's contenders for Prime Minister prefer to stick to their own plans. Naftali Bennett, leader of the religious nationalist Jewish Home Party, slamming the plan for making concessions that would endanger Israel's security.
When you boil it down, in the end you're talking about freezing construction outside the settlement blocks and transferring more and more control and governance in Area C to the Palestinians. I can't see the good news. I'll continue insisting we won't transfer more territories to the Arabs, and we won't establish another Palestinian state.
Yair Lapid, leader of the centrist Yesh Atid, also rejected the plan, saying he didn't want to give away chips that Israel should use in negotiations.
I am totally against anything which is unilateral. It has to come through a regional negotiation. It has to come through the regional conference. What we need is an non-final agreement between two states. I think that's the best we can achieve right now.
Opposition leader Tzipi Livni of the Zionist Union Party still believing she can reach a deal with the Palestinians, but keeping the door open to the new plan as a plan B.
If there's a possibility to end the conflict the next day, let's do it. But if we have problems, let's take some steps toward this in keeping the road for an agreement in the future open and taking some steps that would start the process of dividing ourselves from the Palestinians instead of annexation. We are separating ourselves from the Palestinians, hopefully in a peace process. If there is no partner on the other side for now, traffic jam. Let's find a way to move forward.
The Israeli-Palestinian conflict is stuck, and so is Israel's national debate, not because ideas are lacking, but because they're in surplus. Eylon Aslan-Levy, I-24 News.